that's what's weird is to know people that back in the day when I was like an open mic comic, I was like following on MySpace. Bill Burr used to have blogs. Bill Burr would be like,
really?
Yeah, it was like, I'm sick of these hot girls saying they're keeping it real. You're not the fucking RZA. And it was like this, like, but it was like written like Bill Burr.
Yeah.
But I remember your celebrity photos.
Yes.
And the one I remember specifically was you and 50 Cent getting off a plane, pointing. Did you?
That was on the way to MTV Spring Break. That was 2003. I was doing 2 pilots. This is around Last Comic Standing, where I didn't want to do it, and then Bob and Ross go, you should audition for it. We think you'd do really well.
Yeah.
So I do, and they were going to put me right through to the next level.
I was a fan. This was season 2 of Last Comic Standing.
Yes.
For those of you younger folks that don't know, you couldn't. Stand-up used to be on TV all the time on Comedy Central. Yeah. But when NBC did Last Comic Standing, it was a fucking massive event.
It was big. It was a big show. And at first I was like, I'm not going to do it. But then I'm like, why not? Voss. I think Voss did season 1.
Voss met Bonnie on season 1.
That's right.
And like got far, and it was like, it was great.
It was good for him.
And you fucking murdered on your showcases on season 2. You did the joke about you can't pay your rent. And you're like, what am I going to cut the hooker's head off and show my landlord?
Oh, I vaguely remember that.
You go, what, how you go, but I remember that was the punchline. You're like, what do you want me to cut this hooker's head off and show my landlord?
I remember they would let you do stuff like that on NBC back then.
And I was like, dude, this guy fucking rules. I was living in Tucson, Arizona, just like a young alcoholic doing open mics. And I was like, this is my guy. Because I had started listening to Opie and Anthony already.
Right.
So I knew about you. That's how I learned about the whole New York crew, was Tough Crowd and O&A. But then watching you on NBC, it was like the feeling of like, oh, this is like one of our guys. And then all of a sudden they were like, due to a contract negotiation.
But the conflict was, I had a Viacom contract. I was doing a pilot for MTV at Spring Break, and it was called Stupid Bets. It didn't go anywhere. And I remember I avoided all the water in Spring Break, and we shot on the beach. It was 100 degrees. There were like lights.
Where was it? In Cancun?
In Cancun.
Oh.
And I had to run and shit in the public restroom. It was disgusting.
What, like a beach public bathroom?
The type that didn't have stall doors. Yeah, it was like all concrete.
Oh.
And
how long did you hold that shit?
It was the whole weekend was fine until that last shoot day, and there was no holding it. I just felt it, and I'm like, here it comes. This is what they talked about. Oh, and I was in the bathroom shitting a lot. Pauly Shore was very nice to me. I always loved Pauly Shore because he made my life. He was really cool to me on that set. He did it as a favor to me.
And also, he's like almost... I mean, as far as MTV Spring Break goes, he's the elder.
And he's a god. Yeah, they treated, even back in 2003.
The old weasel, he's like, I'm coming to put some knowledge. You're going to have to poop in an open stop. Oh!
Unfortunately, MTV did not see a future with Jim Norton. They felt bad about the contract thing, so they gave me another pilot while I was there, which I did with Al from Punk'd. I don't remember his name. The guy from Punk'd and Vanessa Manillo.
Oh, shit.
In it.
Who's Nick Lachey's wife?
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Yeah, she was like the hot
she was.
VJ. I would blame a lot of our modern shitty influencer stuff on the lack of VJ jobs. There's a lot of hot people doing stand-up poorly and a lot of hot people doing other stuff poorly. They would have just been great VJs.
Or they would have been, their whole thing would have been geared up to audition to be a VJ.
Yeah. And they would have been like, oh, that's how you would remember it.
I'm a big Nina Blackwood guy. If you want to go back to the... You ever see her in Vice Squad where she played a prostitute who Wings Hauser beat to death?
No. But Nina Blackwood was like, isn't she OG... MTV?
One of the first 5 was her, JJ. It was Alan Hunt. It was Mark Goodman and Alan Hunter, I think.
Mark Goodman. One of them had a show at Sirius. Martha Quinn.
All of them did.
All of them did. But I remember doing the bonfire. One of them thought he was hot shit, and I was like, brother, it's 2018.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit. He'd be like, hey, you know how famous people do that thing where they go like, they walk in and they go, hey, sorry. You're like, you're a fucking original VJ.
Yes, you've mistaken my disinterest for clamoring.
You're really expecting me to be like, oh, what was Downtown Julie Brown like? Please tell me what Downtown Julie Brown was like. It's so funny to be like, you're aged out, bro.
Yeah.
Athletes do that. When you see retired athletes, they still have the like, Hey.
Yeah, listen, if you want to talk, I got a minute, but I got a celebrity photo last night. But I would say it was not the warmest reception.
Who was it?
Gal Gadot.
Oh. You know how you get her? You just go like IDF and then fist bump.
I almost mentioned Israel.
You would have got her.
I know, but I was getting the picture, and I'm like, that's all I needed. My neighbor knows her, and he had like some event for her.
Okay.
So my wife and I went over, and she was probably stayed for a half hour, and I got her just as she was about to leave. It is the most... literally, you've never seen a less interested person than Gal Gadot and me.
Did she do the thing where she didn't break conversation with whoever she was talking to? Because I've done that before with a famous person where you try to get a picture and they're like, it was with an old 49er and he like didn't even stop talking to his friend. He's like, I don't know, the chicken wings are pretty good on the second floor. That it's nice meeting you.
I got Tom Brady like that.
Really?
Wanted nothing to do. I mean, nothing. It was I was for the Tonight Show. I was doing. Where do the Kentucky Derby?
Oh yeah, I forgot you were Leno's guy on the ground
for a while, and I did. There was Aaron Rodgers was at this party, Tom Brady. I got them both to sign a ball. Great. I was the only one that brought a ball to this event. I really am a fucking piece of shit.
It's so funny that your entire life you've looked like a sick kid, and that's the kind of stuff you get. That's the kind of stuff you get.
I did signed. Cancer boy things.
You're like the Gypsy Rose, but you're a man.
Oh, gee, could you sign this for me, Mr. Brady?
Jesus Christ, this cancer's kicking the shit out of this kid.
This poor Progerian boy has a football. Oh, gee.
Oh, gee, mister. Can we have one throw? Just one throw, mister?
Yeah, how about one throw to me? Could you?
So Brady didn't even break conversation?
No, he was talking with two guys that were like kind of trying to, but he took the picture with me. I think because I was with the Tonight Show, like, They gave me the half second.
Sure.
Like, I think we even interviewed Aaron Rodgers for a couple of minutes. Brady didn't want to do an interview, but he took the picture. Like, that was the only reason I got near him was because I had the camera there, and like, you know, they didn't want to be dicks with the camera people around.
Yeah.
They're always nice to the camera.
They're always aware of what's being photographed or videotaped.
Yes.
Famous people have like a sixth sense on that.
Yeah, they're smart with it. And so, you know, Gal Gadot, I did a quick selfie, but I didn't interrupt her chat. She was like, I could see she was making her way towards the door. So we smiled, like, oh, hey. I'm like, do you mind if I... Yeah. And Nikki is like, I would have taken the picture. I'm like, no, you wouldn't. If you would have fumbled with the camera. Yes. My wife with the camera is like fucking Fredo when his father's being shot.
He just freaks out. She just freaks out. She's like, I fucked up. Yeah. I fucked up. That's so fucking funny.
I'm sure that's what would have happened. I would have had no celebrity picture, and my wife would have been going, Papa!
You just had Gal Gadot's forehead, and you'd be like, you ruined it. Yeah, dude, that is, famous people have that, like, you have 3 seconds, get the photo.
Get it?
And get the fuck out of there.
Be ready, be prepared, always be closing.
A, B, C. When you would do like pictures, the 03 50 cent picture.
Yeah.
That's a digital camera. There's no smartphone.
I had to give it to somebody, but that was, we sat next to each other on the plane.
Okay.
So like the whole flight down.
Was he like, what do you do, man? You just through his teeth?
He literally said nothing. Yeah. I was going to dab it. He drooled a little bit. I was going to just dab as a gentleman.
Well, that was probably his bullet wound.
I know. He got shot. That's kind of cool when he does that because you know that's from being shot.
Yeah. Not from him being a sloppy asshole.
No, that's from a bullet. Yes. That's a sign of...
It's one that didn't take his life.
That's a survival thing.
Yeah. I put on, I still have cable. So I like the thing is I don't put on 24-hour news. I don't put on like SportsCenter. I put on like HBO or Showtime. Yeah. And we were watching Get Rich or Die Trying.
Yeah.
Just because it's, when I see now digital cable will tell you what the Rotten Tomatoes rating is. If it's below 20, I'm watching.
You have to watch it.
You have to watch it. I think Get Rich or Die Trying was 17%.
Was it?
It was, so I was like, I got to watch it. And then you realize Fitty can't talk. Yeah. All of his dialogue is him going, man, that's crazy. I don't even know if I want to even do that, man. And then you realize it's like, oh yeah, because he's talking through a bullet wound.
He got shot. I love him. Like that's how we sat together for 3 hours on a plane. I wanted to talk to him so bad, but I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
I remember when the food was being brought out, I almost reached over and pulled his tray out but I'm like, don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't baby him.
Don't baby him.
He'd be like, oh, thanks, man. Can you tuck in my napkin? You have to put a napkin in and you go, no, here, you're flying it into his mouth.
He'd want me to cut it up for him.
Yeah.
Like Keith.
He goes, I don't like steak. Can we trade? Fitty, here it comes. Oh, that's so fucking funny.
He was nice though. He took the photo.
Who did you get to take the photo?
It might have been one of his guys or a woman that was walking, but usually with the digital camera, it can be an awkward one. I got McCartney coming out of Stern Studio, and no one was allowed near Paul McCartney. But I'm like, I'm getting a fucking phone. So as he's walking, the way to do it is you look. They know what you're gonna do. You start talking, and you go, "Hey, man!" They'll always say hi.
Yeah.
And you have to have the camera ready. I'm like, "Do you mind if we take a photo?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, man. Yeah, he'll do it." And he just fucking. I gave it to a guy, and he took a picture of me and McCartney. And everyone else who wanted the picture was like, "Wow, the master has showed us how it's done."
You really did.
Yeah.
You have it ready.
You have it ready and do
I've
it.
blown that so many times.
Who'd you blow with?
Joe Montana. I was on the sideline of a 49ers game because my buddy was a coach with the 49ers, and his wife was like, Joe Montana and Jerry Rice don't take photos. Like, don't even try to do it. If I would have had, what happened was Montana went and talked to someone next to me. If I would have had my phone ready, I could have gone, Joe, can I get a picture real quick? But I didn't. I had my phone in my pocket.
Yeah.
And I fucked it up.
You have to open it.
Yeah.
And you have to don't be a fucking in selfie mode. And you have to have your finger there.
Just
and go,
go,
Joe, do you mind if we get a quick one? And they'll always say, yeah, because they're just stopping.
Yeah.
That was my impression of me taking a photo.
That was brilliant, though. Write it down.
I know. But if I was auditioning for the part, I wouldn't get it.
Cut. You know what? I think we saw everything we need to see.
Mine.
Was there ever a picture that you blew where you were like, I could have got that one? Because especially back in the day, we're talking peak O&A, we're talking peak Sirius, we're talking peak XM. You guys had crazy famous people coming by.
Yeah, we did. I've been turned down by a couple of people in public. I've been turned down by Mick Jagger.
What did he say?
Dude, it was fucking. I was in a hotel in. What was it called? The Montage in Beverly Hills.
Sure.
And I'm in the Pilates room, like before I became a fat pig again. I was actually really thin, and I was just doing some yoga. And I walk out, and the gym is empty. It's Mick Jagger and his trainer. That's it.
In the whole gym?
The whole fucking gym in the hotel. So I'm like, they're talking, and I go, hey, Mick, can I take a? And he goes, no photos, mate. And it's because I knew that he looks old and he didn't have his makeup on. Yeah. So at least I didn't humiliate myself. I said, okay, I adore you.
Oh.
I really, there's a lot of times in my life I should have been shot in the head. Oh. And that was one of them.
Dude,
I adore you.
That you telling I adore you makes me always remember when I first moved to New York, Louis was running Chewed Up. He was like, and Joe List was like, we were doing the Old Boston, which was the Comedy Village.
Oh, yeah.
And Joe List, I've told the story before on here, but Joe List was like, go get Louis. List went to the cellar to get a check from DePaulo because DePaulo was there.
Right.
List comes back. He goes, Louis there. He's running a set. Go let him know we got a show working. He'll come over here and do a set. And I was like, young comic. Louis is one of my heroes.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to say. So he got off stage and I go, Louis, the Village is working. The Comedy Village? And he goes, what? And I go, the Village is working. And he goes,
the Village is working?
And he goes, what? And I go, I don't know. And he goes, yeah, I don't know either. And he just walked up the stairs to the olive tree. And I went back and I told List. And List is like excited, blinking a lot. And he's like, fucking, where is he? Where's Louis? And I go, I told him the Village is working. And List goes, what? And he goes, we're in the Village. And I was like, I know. I've never told Louis that story because I hope he forgets it. Because it's that feeling of like, I adore you. You go
it's
like,
humiliating.
Oh, Conan. Right before I left the bonfire, Conan was starting his channel on Sirius XM, and he was in the hallway with Big J and I. And Big J and I went and talked to Conan, and Jay goes, you got so excited, I thought you were going to call him Mr. Conan O'Brien. Like, that was the excitement I had. I was like, Conan O'Brien. He was like, okay.
Did you take a picture?
No. He came into the studio and said hi. Oh. I pussed out, though. But Conan's a guy that I get like, I grew up watching him. So I
don't know Conan. I saw him once at the store in L.A. He was with his wife, and you can't miss this 6'6" redhead.
Yeah.
But we don't know each other, so I didn't talk to him. But I was kind of tempted to because
he's the man.
Yeah, I like Conan.
Did you ever meet Carson?
No, he died in 2005 or 6. No, he's one guy I would love to have met, but there was never a chance to.
Did you do Carson?
No. My first Leno was 2004. I want to say it was October. Or September of 2004, I think was the first time I did Leno. So no, Johnny was already gone by then. I think he was long gone. He retired in 93. So no, never met Carson. There's a few guys. I've met most of the guys I've loved. Most of the people in my life I've wanted to meet, I've met.
Has there ever been a huge disappointment with someone you've met that you love that you're like, this fucking guy?
You know, I don't think so. Like the people I've loved them, everyone in Sabbath. Kiss, the first time I met Gene Simmons. Gene is not the warmest when you first.
He stinks.
But he's gotten. I roasted him in 2007.
Okay.
Jeff Ross got me in on the fucking Family Jewels.
Oh yeah.
And every time I see him after that,
he was cool.
He's great.
He came in to the bonfire and he just like he's just such a pussyholic that he was like, talking to Christine, he's like, well, look at this lovely lady.
Yeah.
And you're like, shut up, Gene.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like this old horn dog is just in here being like, well, the lovely lady hasn't talked. And you're like, shut up. It's funny when you don't care about old celebrities.
Yes, when they don't, and the worst is when you see someone who doesn't care about a celebrity that you're in awe of, because you're like, just talk to him nice, please be nice.
Oh, dude,
like,
wrestlers. Whenever wrestlers would come through, Jay doesn't care about wrestling,
Yeah.
but I'd be at Sirius and I'd be like, oh, fucking Chris Jericho's here, and he'd be like, okay, and I'd be like, just acting flat out retarded around wrestlers.
I never care about them, but I think they're the best interviews because, like, those guys can talk about anything.
Yeah.
They're fucking great with a mic. Wrestlers are awesome interviews. Like,
They're also
Jericho,
carnies.
They're all carnies. They know how to sell. They know how to make it interesting.
They're also like, they know that if they're not selling, they're dead.
That's right.
So they're just like, yeah, what do you want? What do you want? But I mean, like, Sam is comfortable with him now, but I can't imagine back in the day when he was a producer for O&A, him being cool around WWE people
He
showing
was
up.
always a guy who knew how to at least get the task done of asking the questions.
Sure.
And one thing about Sam that was good is that he didn't mind looking bad. Like when he would do his what's the haps
Yeah.
or whatever, he would ask one question. He didn't care if it made him look like a fool.
Yeah.
As long as it was sounded good on the air. I always respected that. Like he's better at it than I am. Like for
Sure.
me, there's nothing they could have got me to do that would have made me look stupid in front of Ozzy. I just wouldn't have done it. I would have said, no, I'm not doing that.
You went from obviously super fan of Sabbath, super fan of Ozzy, to like getting to know Ozzy and Sharon in a way that Ozzy did the sketch before one of your specials.
Yeah.
I mean,
he introduced me. It was always a dream of mine. He introduced me like into camera from a toilet in his house.
I remember
it was
that.
amazing.
What was that? That wasn't Monster Rain.
Please be
was it?
offended. No,
It was
Monster
Please Be
Rain
Offended.
there was no intro.
But I remember watching that as a fan of yours, and it's like when you're a fan of somebody and you know they're a fan of somebody, it makes it like, oh shit. Like when you got Lemmy for Down and Dirty on HBO, like that was unbelievable.
I wanted him involved. I wanted him involved somehow.
And then you guys would just cut to him after like an Al Jackson set, and he'd be like, I don't even really know about that. And he'd be like, right, Lemmy? And he'd be like, oh, no. I love Down and Dirty.
He would introduce me. I think that's how we had it. We were using "We Are the Road Crew" as the song.
Yeah.
And I remember we shot the opening of the thing. So me and Lemmy were in a limo going from the theater in Inglewood, I think it was, back to New York, and we shot it in Minetta Lane. It was just us walking, but he's playing fucking Runaround Man, which was off at that time the new Motorhead record. It was so fucking great. I'm sitting in a limo. He's like, check this out, man, and he's playing this new music for me in the limo. It just
is that a moment where you're like, how the fuck I'm getting to hear brand new Motorhead
with Lemmy?
Like, do you feel in that moment like you have to react like oversell it? Like, this is unbelievable.
It was easy because I loved the song.
Sure.
Ozzy played New Sabbath for me when they were doing, I think they were doing Reunion, and Sharon, I was at the house for something, and she goes, why don't you play Jim some of the, it might have been when we were shooting the opening.
The toilet scene?
And she goes, why don't you play some of the new stuff for Jim? And he goes, all right, and he takes me into I'm in Ozzy's basement with him, and he's playing he's playing Sabbath for. It was crazy. It was just it's
like queuing that up, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
It never. And I don't think I'm cool when this happens. I'm like my life is really good.
Yeah, it feels. Whenever those kind of moments happen, I think you're like most people, or like me, where you're kind of like, "Is this the end?"
Yeah.
Like this, what a crescendo.
This worked out.
Ozzy being like, "Oh, I'm going to play you something. No one's heard this."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh." I also am such a people pleaser that in that moment, I feel like I would oversell.
Sure,
Where I'd be like, "This is the greatest song you've ever written," and he'd be like, "It's not though," and then you're like, "It's not. It's not. It kind of sucks." And he goes, no, it's good. And you go,
I mean good, but it just sucks like compared
to like Crazy Train. And he goes, I didn't even like Crazy Train. And you go, horrible song.
Yeah, me neither.
That's what sucks about getting around people like, I'm a huge Queens of the Stone Age fan. I'm so glad I've never met Josh Homme because I feel like I would be too much in that mode of being like, you're the greatest ever. Like Chris Farley show. That's why Chris Farley nailed it on SNL being like, do you remember when you were in Caius and you guys did Welcome to Sky Valley? And he'd be like, yeah, I lived it. Of course I fucking remember.
That was awesome.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, so great. Do you have a problem watching... Ozzy can't stand now.
I feel very bad for. Yeah, that's. I think 2019 he fell. I do. It's hard to see because I love him, but it's one of those things where like Ozzy survived everything. Like
everything.
You know how many guys would have been dead doing what he did. So the fact that he's still here, they're doing that one more show in England, which of course I'm going to go to.
Are you going to that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because is that like, this isn't like a Cher thing where they go like final performance and he goes, actually, I'm doing a whole thing.
No, I don't think he can do more. I think my guess, and I don't know this, but my guess is he's going to be seated the way Axl was when he broke his leg with AC/DC because his voice is still good. So I'm guessing he's going to do some Ozzy and some Sabbath. Bill Ward is old. Like, those guys are in their mid-70s. They fucking, I mean, I don't know how the Stones are still going.
It's crazy. It's got to be adrenochrome.
It's crazy.
It's got to be the brain juice of scared kidnapped kids. There's no way.
They're just taking little aborted spines and sucking the fucking...
Well, all right.
Sucking the stem cells.
He goes, we're going to do Beggar's Banquet front to back. That little boy was scared out of his mind. And they go, we're still looking for Kyle. And meanwhile, Keith is just cigarette in his mouth, fucking ripping.
The fact, though, I don't know, maybe Mick Jagger didn't do the amount of... I don't know what they did, but the fact that those guys are still fucking healthy is crazy.
I don't know, but I'll tell you my favorite thing about Instagram is when the algorithm does kind of figure you out and they show you clips of shit that like you would have never saw.
Yeah.
I've been obsessed with watching this clip of Keith Richards and Chuck Berry argue about how Chuck Berry's guitar sounds.
Yeah.
And Keith is just like over it. He doesn't have any of what we're talking about where you're like, you're my hero. He's kind of just like, I don't know, man, that's how it fucking sounds. You just see Keith Richards at one point go like, it's just how it fucking sounds. And Chuck Berry's like, I ain't give it. He's just batshit nuts.
Yeah, he was crazy.
So you just like watch him. You watch him and you're like, I love watching that.
Yeah.
When someone's like over their hero's shit, where they're like, shut the fuck up, Chuck Berry.
You know him well enough to know that you make a lot more money than Chuck Berry does.
Yeah, Keith Richards was about to be like, hey, I'm paying your rent this month. I'm paying for the hooker to fart in your mouth now.
My favorite video, by the way.
I want you to fart.
A classic.
Fart. And then when he pees on her and you're like, oh my God.
And he's laughing.
Yeah, when those videos came out, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
He was a sick puppy.
I have a new hero.
You go, thought I liked his guitar playing. Turns out I love his hooker peeing even more.
There's great footage of him with Springsteen. They're doing, I liked watching people like that interact, like, because it's very rare you see the Stones or McCartney get blown away by somebody.
Sure.
To see those, so when you watch those guys interacting with Chuck Berry, like Springs, I think it was just Johnny B. Good. He came out and played it, but just to watch Bruce standing back there like, holy fuck, it's Chuck Berry.
Yeah.
Like they can't believe they're working with him.
Springsteen's having the moment you had with Ozzy in his basement where he's like, holy shit, I'm watching fucking Chuck Berry play. There's a clip of Muddy Waters playing with like a young Rolling Stones and they're like, holy shit, he's in the fucking room.
I never want to get over that. Like, I know I don't run around and take pictures anymore. Like, if somebody was there that I wanted, or like, sure. But like, there was plenty of times at Sirius as years went on where I just didn't run out and meet people. I didn't give a fuck.
Sure.
But like, I hope I never get over enjoying meeting people like that who I love.
Yeah.
It's like, why should I? Like, they've made me happy and I want to meet them. And why would I pretend that I'm not awed by it?
You were part of one of my favorite moments at the Cellar. I went in on a Sunday. I was still drinking. And I like went in. I was in the area at a bar and I went in. It was like an 8 o'clock show, and at the table, it was still before they did the construction, so it was still like the bar.
Oh, yeah.
And it was Lenny Marcus, you, and Robin Williams. And Robin Williams was just sitting next to you at the table and just having a conversation with everybody. And I sat down, and I didn't like try to do anything, but then shout out to Lenny Marcus. He went, hey, Soder, 49ers won today. And Robin was from the Bay Area.
San Francisco,
And he looked up at me like excited and he goes, the 49ers won? And I was like, they did. They beat the Rams. And he was like, oh, that's great. And I was like, oh, this moment, I'm not going to ask for a picture. This is just an incredible moment to tell Robin Williams that the 49ers won.
I wish I knew then what I learned later, because I would love to have whispered to Robin, like, what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Lenny, you do it instead.
Hey, Lenny, I wish you would find a doorknob and your cock in your hand.
Lenny, by the way, Lenny Mark is very underrated. A really, really funny comedian. Murders on stage.
Worst timing texter in the fucking world as a sports fan. He waits until the 49ers are losing and be like, what's going on? And you're like, shut the fuck up, Lenny.
Yeah, he's a guy who I think Lenny can hold a conversation with anyone. He doesn't seem like he gets floored by, at least he presents like he wouldn't be floored by anyone, which is, it's a good quality.
You know, that idea of like being intimidated or changing your behavior based on a celebrity, you see who's like real ones and who's not. My favorite example of this is Colin had that joke about Bruce Springsteen, about how he's a phony. Where he's like, oh yeah, real working man, doing a 6-hour concert on a Tuesday, and it's an unbelievable bit.
Great bit.
Yeah, where he's like, now there's a welder in New Brunswick missing a thumb because you wanted to do a 36-minute version of Rosalita on a weekday, and I love that bit. And he would do it or whatever. Then he did a benefit with Springsteen and did the joke in front of Springsteen.
That's funny.
And you're like, I would never have the balls to do that.
No.
I would never have the balls to go out there and just bust the boss's chops. But Colin's like, man, I don't fucking give a shit. And that always to me was like a superpower.
Although you should have seen Colin, there was times like where, like, you know what I mean? Robin Williams, you know, like before, and then he started coming around in the cellar and he'd be up there improvising at the table. And you know who else was laughing along? Colin. When you see your friends be phony, there's nothing better. I guess I do. A banana would talk like an old black guy. You know, it's like, what would that preacher say? I fucking love that. Guys, you know me. I'm afraid of everything, and I just want to be sleepy and comfortable. Enter Chubbies. Started as a bathing suit that I owned, turned into some of the most comfortable clothes that I own. Experienced unmatched comfort and style with Chubbies' iconic original stretch shorts. Depending on how much thigh you're looking to show, Chubbies makes them in 4-inch, 5.5-inch, and 7-inch inseams. These shorts have the stretchiest fabric for ultimate movability and flexibility while maintaining a perfectly tailored fit. Pair the original stretch shorts with the Chubbies lineup of performance polos, and now you're cooking. You're looking all fashionable while also remaining soft, stretchy, and breathable fabric on you. These polos are built to kick back, turn up, chill out, and party down. Whether you're getting dressed for your workday, a workout, or even a weekend getaway, Chubbies has you covered. For a limited time, Chubbies is giving our viewers 20% off your order with our code SODER20 at chubbyshorts.com. That's SODER20 at chubbyshorts.com. Support our show and tell them we sent you. Don't blend in with the crowd. Stand out with Chubbies. There's also a disappointment. Like the flip side of that coin is being disappointed watching your friends schmooze. Oh, yeah.
Being like, oh, hi.
I had such high hopes for you.
Oh, yeah. You're like, I thought you were a real motherfucker.
And by the way, the time Colin chooses to smooth, like, you couldn't have done this with the Comedy Central executives when we were on Tough Crowd. You got to do it with Robin.
You could have got another season if you just knew who had
If you would just be nice to somebody and you didn't dig in.
Did you ever see that moment with Patrice where you were like, so close to Patrice, you're like, Patrice, just don't be a dick to this guy. Because like Patrice seemed like, and this is just coming from a guy that was an open micer, very young comic. Patrice seemed like a guy that you didn't want to get around because he would just fucking tear you down if you fucked up.
You know, I saw him in his private life getting like very regretful of things he did.
Sure.
Like, you know, I think he was 40 when he started. But we were talking, and I remember him going, man, I feel I'm irrelevant. I'm not. He was really bothered by the fact, and he started like apologizing to people. You know, everyone has that when they get to a certain age.
Yeah.
And so I think it did affect him, some of the shit that he had said and done, like, because he was a nice guy. Like, he was a big shit talker and a blabbermouth, but he was also like a really good person. Like,
yeah, there were moments, and I think young comics or guys my age now, like, do remember when you were around Patrice. It was something that Colin said actually on O&A when Patrice passed away, where he said he'd make 50%, he's up in heaven making 50% of the people feel comfortable and 50% of the other people feeling uncomfortable and then flipping it.
Yeah.
He was very good at that. He was very good at like, if you were insecure, I remember being at Stand Up New York, like waiting to do check spots, and Patrice would talk to me. But then if I was like with other young comics like Joe List and Mark Norman, he would be like, get out of here.
Yeah.
He'd be like, fuck off. But in those moments where I was by myself and insecure, he'd be like, what are you doing? What is this? You know, in a way that you're like, oh shit. And then I would be like, oh, I know Patrice.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, hi, Patrice. And he'd be like, ugh. And he'd be like, oh, shut the fuck up. But I always, you know, people do that now where they go like, I wish Patrice was around to hear what he says. And you go, he would have hated most of the people that say they wish he was around.
Anyone who says, what do you think Patrice was? I do love that though, because my thing is like, it's like, you know how happy he would be that he's been dead for all these years and people are still using him to torture us? like you fucking idiot. Like he would love that they were still mentioning him.
Yeah. He'd be like, oh, Jim, you can't get rid of me.
Yeah.
I'm still haunting you, motherfucker.
Here's what he was really good at. He was very good. Like there were times where I had like a couple of relationship issues. And when you would just talk to him one-on-one about something, like he really was a good friend. And he was a guy who really he was a great negotiator.
Yeah.
And like me and Keith were fighting in Brazil in 2003.
Oh God, you guys and your fucking hooker trips.
It was some hooker fight.
The New York comic fucking Brazilian summer camp where just everyone would go and cum in people. It was just like cum camp. You guys would go down there and just fuck. And then Keith would bust our balls that we didn't do that when we got older.
But I didn't fuck much. I did a little bit, but I would fall in love. I went down there. I got a girl who spoke English, and I don't even think I fucked her for the whole week. I was just like tried to wife her up and be close.
Oh, you'd listen to stories?
Oh, and me.
What's the favela? What's the favela like?
Yeah, what is your experience? How much do you make a month?
Oh, is your brother good at soccer?
I remember when I got back to the U.S., I was sending her like a Spider-Man DVD. I was sending her. I really, again, I'm an in love sap.
Do you think she's still alive?
Her name is Fabiana. I don't know.
Fabiana, reach out.
She was very pretty. She had a little nose ring.
Oh.
But I remember me and Keith were fighting about something. I don't remember what. I mean, remember that time I argued with Keith? Like, you can't be friends with Keith and even remember what you fought about.
He starts in third gear.
He is the fucking
You walk in and he just goes,
cloud.
He walks in and he goes, I'm glad you 49ers stink. He'll walk in and say the most offensive thing. I love him.
But we were fighting. And I remember it was... Patrice was kind of acting as a go-between, but he was very good at this is what Brazil means to you, and this is what it means. So he was a good negotiator at times, like when neither one of you is hearing each other. So he probably saved that trip so we didn't just fight the whole fucking trip.
Because he wanted to get his, and he was like, if these guys are fighting, it's going to
kill the vibe.
It's going to kill the vibe, and I need to fucking... I got this bag of dildos with me.
Yeah.
When Bobby told me that story, you're like, that's insane.
Dr. Dildo, I'll never forget that, yeah.
You know what's funny is I remember this story that Big J told me where Patrice had a barbecue and he invited Nate, and then the next year Nate didn't get an invite, Bargatze, and Nate was like upset about it, and he called Jay and he's like, I think Patrice is like mad at me or something. And Big J called Patrice and was like, hey, is my buddy Nate say anything? You know, do you get an invite? And Patrice goes, no, invite Nate. He doesn't believe in dinosaurs. That's the kind of person I want at my barbecue. Not everyone agreeing with me. And that was such a rational take that you're like, that's hilarious. He's like, yeah, I don't want a guy that's just going to say yes to everything I say.
Right. Yeah. And
I want a guy that doesn't believe in science.
He liked a good debate. He liked the debebate. He liked to spar. Like every comic, he liked to spar. It was fun for him to get in there and make. And he didn't want somebody again. He said who he could run over.
Yeah.
Because he would always pick on big targets. I remember one time, there was some guy came in to the cellar and we were sitting there, and he was like a big, kind of psychotic looking guy, and he came over, and Patrice started making fun of him and fucking with him, and then the guy left. And I forget what the wording was, but I called Patrice out. I'm like, you just did that so he would think, well, you're the guy who will make fun of anybody. And he laughed, and he's like, yeah, you always see my phoniness.
Really? Yeah. That's got to be incredible.
He owned
because
it.
He was the person that everyone said could call out their phoniness.
Yeah, but he was just phony. He was the same guy.
But you know what's so funny? That is great that he goes, shit.
He knew, but he knew he wasn't dishonest about that stuff. Like he knew that he knew exactly what he had done.
Yeah.
And he knew that I saw it, just like he would have seen it if I did it.
Yeah. I mean, that's like when I love watching Shane Gillis be around famous people. He bullies them, and they don't have that, so they love it. where he goes like, "What are you, gay or whatever?" And they're like, "Shut up!" And then they're like NFL players who are giant men.
Yeah,
they're like walking gods in modern day NFL. And then Shane's like, "Whatever, fucking gay wad." And then they're like, "You want to be friends?"
Yeah,
because they like it. Because it's like a lack of phony when you can cut to someone like that.
When you tease somebody, or when you talk to somebody in a way that they're not used to being talked to, but it's genuine. It's not shitty.
That's why I hate. I mean, I've worked on it with therapy in years, but I hated how much of a people pleaser I was most of my life.
It's difficult, yeah.
Because I was just like, "Oh yeah, I fucking suck," and then people would be like, "Ugh," and you're like, and then you walk away and you're like, "God damn it, everything went wrong."
No, but it's that same like, and I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that same humiliating groveling that you're talking about.
That's exactly what it is.
But it's one of the things that makes you funny too. Like all these things that we hate, like but you know what? That does kind of go into making me funny. The fact that I'm a people-pleasing blinking weasel.
Oh my God. Just willing to shake hands with whatever slime ball to be like, "Thanks, you like me."
Hey, hey, Jeffrey, they're giving you a bad rap. You know?
I think, you know what, Teddy? I think those women deserve those crowbars on the side of the head. Good job, Mr. Bundy. But, like talking about the Aussie stuff, I always think it's weird. I think there's like a part of life that no one talks about where it's kind of sadder to watch your heroes get old than yourself get old. Because I don't think you realize you're getting older as much as when you see like Ozzy not being able to stand.
That's right.
You're like, oh, fuck.
That's your sign that you're getting. Yeah, that's right. Because that's why people hate it when bands cut their hair, or they hate it like, and I feel it like when people go, "You've changed."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Hey, asshole, I'm 56. You started listening to me when I was 30.
Yeah.
And by the way, dummy, you've changed. Are you the same guy you were 25 years ago? You're fucking, at least I'm still doing what I was doing."
Yeah.
I guarantee you, your wife tells you what to do. You got fucking kids. You got a fucking minivan. You're not the same guy either.
And then they're like, and I think that's all it is just projection of, because it is when you see your heroes get old and start to break down and like, you're like, fuck. It is just a reminder that you're like, I'm not the fucking kid in the van listening to them. I'm like, you like want to know what their vitamin regimen is. Yeah. You want to know if they're eating chicken without the skin. You want to know like adult shit that you're like, this sucks.
Yeah, this is not where I thought I would be.
And that's why like someone like a Paul McCartney doing 3 hours without a sip of water.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You're like, holy shit.
It's fucking crazy.
Or the Stones. The Stones doing like, we had someone on the podcast that's, Nathan McIntosh went to the Stone show and he was like, "I saw the Stones last night." And I was like, "I don't want to see those old guys." And he was like, "It was unbelievable."
Yeah, I've heard they're still great.
And that's when you're like, oh, fuck. Watching them still have a little bit in the tank, you're like, this is not fucking bad. Wrestling, John Cena just turned heel. And I saw someone break it down that they were like, well, yeah, his fans aren't little kids anymore. His fans are all in their 20s and 30s now. So they don't care that he's a bad guy.
Right.
Most of them don't even watch wrestling anymore.
Yeah.
And the little kids that like Cena, they're not as connected to him as they were 10, 15 years ago. And that's like a thing about growing up is you're like, oh yeah, you do get old and then you got to let your heroes get old.
You got to let them get old too and realize when you're pissed at them for it that it is a reflection of the fact that you're getting, as long as they don't become people that they're like totally the opposite. Like I'm not as crazy as I used to be.
Sure.
But I'm not out there telling people what to say.
Yeah.
I'm not out there correcting people's, well, you shouldn't use that term. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but that's I think the worst form of celebrity is when people try to stay relevant by completely selling out what they stood for back in the day. It's exactly what sometimes I wish you guys could see the shit we talked before we filmed these podcasts.
Oh, God, it was glorious.
Yeah, but we were talking about a comic that got famous and basically just flipped up their entire thing once they got in trouble. They were like, that didn't mean anything. And you're like, well, then now you've done irreparable damage.
Yes.
Because instead of going like, I was young, I was saying crazy shit.
Yeah.
Which most people...
We all get it.
Yeah, dude. It's like, I used to fucking smoke cigarettes. I'm not faulting anybody for smoking cigarettes. I miss it all the time.
Yeah.
But if I was like, I wish I never smoked. Bullshit.
Yeah,
I miss it all the fucking time.
Yeah, we were also talking about like certain comics who, when they get to a point of being well known, like, and I was doing a podcast run at one point, and like if Rogan has me on his podcast, I feel that anybody else doesn't have to have me on, but I merit a response like that, and I don't walk around thinking I'm fucking good, but like if there's somebody who I've had on the radio show and I reach out through somebody
to
do your podcast. and you don't even respond,
that's wild.
Go fuck yourself. Like, you don't have to have me. You may be busy, but motherfucker, I deserve a yes or a no.
And even me, you know, I've seen people get famous and I would have a relationship with them, and then all of a sudden I don't serve that person anymore.
Sure.
And all of a sudden now it's like, oh, I don't get texts, phone calls. It's just it's not even like it's a non-starter. And you're like, oh, well, that kind of sucked. Because what it is when people change, you go, I thought the old version was the reality.
Yeah.
And it turns out that you can shift reality depending on how famous you are.
And I also, when people, like, there's a lot of guys who are like the person I was mentioning before, you know, we didn't say their name because for what? But like, I know.
I'll tell you in person.
When you
come to a show, if you get me outside the venue, I'll fucking tell you.
When you get really famous, I know it's hard to maintain the same relationship because you're busy. You have a whole new set. Like, I do get that. Like, so I don't expect people to keep me in their circle all the time. Like, I don't give a fuck, but at least respond.
And also, there also is a part of when people get extremely famous, there is like a decompression era where you're like, you got to give them like a year or two.
100%.
Because they've got 600 people with their hands out. You know, I remember watching Shane get famous. He stayed himself on a level that I respect tremendously, which is like still sending each other fucking memes. You know, if something happens in the NFL, we'll still text about it. But I don't expect him to call me the way he did when he was coming up. Of course. But you gotta, it's like a give and take. But when you see some people completely change and go like, oh, this was all transactional.
Yeah.
Those are the people that tend to, when they fall out of grace, kick and scream.
Yeah, and you're happy to see it.
Yeah, and you go,
good. I hope it hurts.
Yeah, you piece of shit.
Hope it hurts, you fuck.
But like, you wonder with like a guy like Ozzy, if a guy like Ozzy, like, he's done it so much that the people that are there.
Yeah, and he's also a very genuine guy. Like, again, he's been famous since 1968. Like,
that's insane.
When you've been, you know, like, since the first record came out in 69, I think, in England, or 70 here.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you've handled fame. You've been up. You've had your downs. You fucking.
It's not even I don't even think to him fame is a thing.
It's just like. It's his life.
He lives.
It's his life.
He just lives his life. Also, him and his family were the first reality.
They changed everything, man.
They changed everything. The Osbournes was fucking massive.
And it was, Sharon said there was no take two on it. Like, so it took 8 or 9 months of just filming them all the time.
Yeah.
And she said that we didn't do take two, so we just shot it. But they have an interesting life. You had Ozzy, you had the 2 kids, you had Sharon doing her show. Like,
sure. So
there was enough stuff to do there. Everyone thinks they're interesting enough for a reality show.
Yeah, and you didn't realize it was like, compared to the Osbournes, you're not fucking half as interesting.
Dude, what did I do today? I was on fucking the computer seeing my podcast count. Who the fuck wants to film that?
Just check the views. Yeah. And it really is like with Ozzy, I always thought it was interesting when the Osbournes came out that his oldest daughter, Amy, was like, I'm not participating in this.
Yeah.
And she cut herself out and kind of saved her own private life.
She wanted her private. I don't know Amy. She's I know the rest of the family. I've met her. And she's a musician. She's actually a good singer. Like, she has her own, but it's very different than anything Ozzy does.
Yeah.
But yeah, she just she's that person who just, she's the oldest, and she just, I mean, from with Sharon.
There's got to be something about being the child of a global superstar that is worse than having a deadbeat parent.
Right. Well, there's no expectations of the deadbeat parent. There's no, like, you know, when you have a deadbeat parent, you know why people are your friend. When you're Ozzy's kid, you have to always go, is it me or is it the fact that he's my dad?
And also you have to watch about like these global celebrities. They're never around for their kids.
Yeah.
And so they also go like, well, all these people love you more than I do.
Because I don't see you.
Because I don't fucking know you. I know my Brazilian nanny who was getting DVDs sent to her by Jim Norton in fucking 98.
Yeah.
But you're like, I don't even fucking, you like, I like, as someone with a deadbeat parent, it was almost kind of like easier.
Right.
Like if I would have found out he had another family, I would have been like, that fucking hurts.
That hurts a little bit, yeah.
But if you're a global superstar and you're like, oh, so you like, an arena in London is going nuts for you, but I'm not going to see you on my birthday.
Right.
I would fucking hate him.
Or when I do see you, you're going to ruin it because you're drunk.
Oh my God, or on drugs, just on the couch, and you're like, Daddy, like lifting up his arm. That's got to be, I would probably say the worst parent to have would be a drug or alcohol addicted rock star father.
Yes. Well, I would say a drug or alcoholic or drug addicted deadbeat dad would be worse because they have no money. At least the rock star can fund your lifestyle and pay you.
But then you start to resent money. Then there's a resentment there. Then you're like, give me your money. Then it's like all a thing. My dad was broke as fuck when he died. I was like, I don't know, maybe I can get a Niner jacket.
Yeah.
At best. You got to dodge debt when they're fucking poor, but when they're rich, I think it would fuck up how you would view them, because you would be like, I want your money. I want something out of this. I got nothing out of you as a parent. Give me millions.
I want your money. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I can imagine that if they're not around for you, it's got to be awful. But there's got to, like, I love these guys like Bill Gates or it was, I think, Steve Jobs, or they were saying that they're not leaving their kids any money. That I'm leaving no money to my children.
Yeah.
And a lot of them say that, but I think that the whole thing is bullshit. They say that, but I think that's also to weed out gold digging partners for the kid.
Sure.
I don't think I don't think Bill Gates is going to leave his children nothing.
But if he does leave them nothing, what a reveal.
I mean,
because they're like sitting around, they go, yeah, I mean, he did the talking, but I don't think he's actually going to do it. Dad. And then they read the will and he's like, this cocksucker didn't give me a fucking dime.
Yeah, his pancreas was rotting out and he still didn't leave me any money.
He was using crystals on his pancreas and I didn't even get 100,000.
They said that's why they said I think he was to leave him 10 million, which is a lot, but not compared to 100 billion. But they said that was one of the reasons maybe Melinda left, was that, I mean, the whole Epstein friendship probably didn't help.
You know, him going to an island where there's young girls getting fucked.
Well, he's Bill Gates. They need a computer fix.
He goes, you know what? Why don't I come down there and look at the hard drive? That's what they were doing.
I'll show you how to block an IP address.
Jeff, let me get down there. I got malware that I can install on your shit.
But how crazy? They're all nuts, computers. How crazy was that fucking, was McAfee?
Oh, yeah.
They think he said like women shit on him. Like he would, they said lay under a hammock and girls would like hang in the hammock and shit. I mean,
That's
what a
so
classic,
funny.
what a great guy he is.
Also, you know how difficult it must be to wash poop out of a hammock?
Yes.
With that fucking knit. With that knit, like the way the rope, it's just in there. And then the second girl goes, there's shit still on there. And he goes, he's getting under the hammock. He goes, just.
Yeah, you actually have to cut the part out so there's an asshole place.
Yeah, I always think about that, like when they do documentaries about like how sick like rich guys are and they have like shit thrones or whatever.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny the upkeep of being like, all right, well, I got to get someone to wash it.
Yeah, because
like,
the rim is going to be dirty. Yeah,
rich guys aren't going to wash their sex dungeon.
No, but I don't know. You can't ask somebody to. That's embarrassing. A rich guy doesn't want people knowing he does that either. A rich guy doesn't want somebody like, hey, could you wash the chair? But I put my head through the shit box. Can you wash it?
My Jack in the Box, where I take a dump down the throat.
Oh yeah, there's dominatrixes that have that where you put your head in a box, it just stops it, and then they, I guess, open up. That could be so claustrophobic.
Well, that was they did that documentary on Armie Hammer because they said he was a cannibal. Yeah. But Discovery did like a 5-part thing on his family. Yeah. Because his family was like oil barons or whatever. And they said his dad had a chair that was a throne where a woman could like put her head through the seat. It was like what we're talking about. And you're like, that's so funny. The designs.
The woman or him?
Like they would have women, I guess, pop her head out to give him oral while he was sitting on this thing, but they would be in this like box, which is so funny to think of the blueprints of him like drawing it up in his office and his kids come in and he has to put a sheet down. Oh, hey, partner.
Yeah, the most embarrassing architect since Mike Brady.
What are you doing, Mike? He goes, I'm looking to build a house for AIDS victims. I'm looking to build.
Dad, why are you putting that? Why is that fucking whole wall have a hole in it? That's a long story.
Well, I don't know. Are you? Well, Greg, are you familiar with glory? We call it glory. Hallelujah. Yeah, I always think it's funny, those like sex dungeon things. They have to clean them.
They do have to clean them.
Because they're going to get Hep A.
But most of them probably they design their own, like especially if they're kidnapping women. I can't imagine anybody hiring someone to build.
Yeah.
You have to just that's a DIY
That was
project.
the thing when the Epstein broke that Jay and I would joke around about like being Epstein's friend who isn't a pervert. And he's just like at his house, and he's like, "Hey, Jeff, a lot of Capri Suns in the fridge." And he goes, "Don't worry about it. That fridge isn't for you. No, the drinks are in the other fridge." And he's like, "All right, dude, you got a lot of little shoes around here." You know, if you're just a regular guy who's friends with,
why all these scrunchies? You're 60.
That's why that Jim Downey clip of him on Conan's podcast where he goes, "Jeffrey Epstein, the financier," where he acts like he doesn't know what he does. So he's like, the guy in finance. But it's like there's got to be regular people who have no idea
or no connection to that.
Who actually, like, out of the Epstein log, there had to be a couple people that were just legitimately like, a lot of them. Rich guy wants me to go to his party. I'm going to fly down.
They said one of the reasons that some of the, now I'm sure that there's people on that list that are did very bad shit.
No, I would guess 80% of those people were monsters.
They said some of the redactions though were at people's request, because they said there were people who had legitimate business interests with him that had nothing to do with anything.
Oh God,
that their lives would be ruined because of his name.
Dude, fucking. Your wife comes in, she's like, "You're on the Epstein flight log?" And you go, oh, okay.
Wait, hold on.
First off,
let me just say.
I just want to say, beautiful island. It was a beautiful island. We're going to act like the Caribbean's not great.
He wasn't even there.
Dude, he was gone. Also, I had to go down. It was, we did the Scherzer deal there. He's like doing a thing. She's like, "You sick fuck."
I never care about flight logs unless it with him, because there's this rich guys lend their planes out to people all the time. Like, I don't think that Clinton and Kevin Spacey went to Epstein Island and they were going to some event with who's the comic? Oh my God, Chris
Tucker.
Chris Tucker. Yeah, he was with. They were just going to do some charity event. Like there's certain things I think
so
that were
funny. And then Chris Tucker's like, "Man, I didn't have sex with no kids. I ain't fucking kids." And just the way he talks makes him sound guilty. And he goes, "Man, I ain't fucking kids." And you go, "I think you're fucking kids." "What are you talking about, man? I ain't fucking no kids. I ain't fucking touching no little penises." You go, just the way you talk, I feel like you fucked little kids. He's like, "Man, what are you talking about?" It's so funny. Just guilty tone.
Yeah, but totally innocent.
But completely innocent. That is and you know, we're so thirsty to like take down everybody.
Sure.
That those Epstein logs, you're like, "I fucking knew it." But there are celebrities that if I found that out, I kind of want to be kept secret. Like, you know, they always go like Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg, and you're like, please don't.
I hope not.
Please, I hope not.
Do I need another reason to like Spielberg?
I go, "You guys seen Jim recently? He's dressing like Indiana Jones." It's a lot. It says he's super into bullwhips now. Yeah, dude. It's some of the stuff you don't want to get ruined.
Right. You don't want to ruin these people.
We like Chuck Berry more.
Sure.
But there were people upset when they found out Chuck Berry pooped on prostitutes.
Maybe. With kids, it's different, though. Like, because Chuck Berry was anything with adults, no matter how kinky or piggish, is at least adults.
Yeah.
But if it's like a kid, it's like
inexcusable.
You can't look beyond it. There's no one I like that wouldn't bother me with.
Yeah, where you'd be like, Jesus
let me think.
Christ.
I don't like the Woody Allen thing. Like, I love Woody Allen. He's a comic genius. He's one of the most underrated stand-ups ever. This one incident, did it happen? If it happened, like, I can't unsee it.
Yeah.
But I've been able to convince myself that there's enough plausible deniability
that you can get around. I
can get it because, again, it was just this one person. He's denying it, and there were criminal investigations.
I mean, they looked into it. Can I tell you a great Joe DeRosa story?
Sure.
We were... She'll just fucking love it. We were at Shane's Halloween party. Katie and I dressed up as the Sticky Bandits from Home Alone. Everyone else, all the other women there were in like sexy costumes. I had Katie in a bald cap with a fake black tooth, and we were dancing. It looked like two dudes dancing on there. She was dropping her ass on me dressed as fucking Harry, and I was dressed as Marv from fucking Home Alone. But DeRosa was hitting on a younger, beautiful woman. It was going well, and he was flirting, and Katie and I were observing because Joe DeRosa, he does have game.
He does.
Doesn't have a body shape, but he's got game.
For a man shaped like a triangle, DeRosa has good numbers.
Yeah, he's got. And by the way, reverse triangle, not the kind you want to be shaped like. It's flip it. So we're watching it, right, and then Katie is hilarious. She'll talk shit. Somehow we're off to the side at this party. Woody Allen gets brought up. Joe is hitting on a much younger woman, but like aggressively defending Woody Allen.
Oh, that's so funny.
At one point, Katie goes, Joe, read your situation. This isn't the time or the place. And he goes, no, he didn't have sex with that kid. It was so funny watching a younger girl be like, what are we talking about? Dude, it was one of my favorite.
Watching him dig in for no reason.
I mean, and DeRosa loves Woody Allen. So he was like passionate about it. And
I hope it ain't true.
Oh, God. And watching Katie go, Joe, not now.
Yeah,
and he's like, he didn't fuck a kid. He didn't fuck a kid. It is so goddamn funny.
I hope he didn't. I truly hope not, because I love him so much. I don't want that to be true.
You know, for me, obviously pedophilia is the worst, but, a number 2 or number 3 on it is watching celebrities I love grift politically.
Oh, yeah.
Left or right.
Yeah.
When I watch them go like, first off, actors shouldn't be telling anybody to vote because they're all pro-liars.
Yeah.
You're just pretending to be someone else. Why the fuck do I care what your political opinion is?
Yeah.
But like, I grew up loving Hulk Hogan, and then just everything he's done since 2008, you're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
He just keeps coming with shit where you're like, stop. I can't even kind of come back.
I like when they don't, I don't mind somebody talking, like Henry Winkler.
Yeah.
Who I love. He'll talk about it and he goes, people say that we shouldn't say anything, but why not? And he makes a logical point, but he's not a dick about it. Like, if someone's not a dick about it, I don't mind them.
Sure.
It's when they start to, like, there was a great video where Ben Affleck was digging in about Islam and calling people Islamophobic on Bill Maher's show.
Yeah.
And the guy he was talking to was an expert on Islam.
That's the best.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, the guy knew everything. Like,
Yeah.
So it's like, you got to know your lane, too. Like, don't think that you're going to out-talk people who do that shit for a living.
Yeah, when you're sitting next to the guy that you played in a movie, maybe let him talk.
Let him talk.
Yeah, it was just a fat guy in a fucking button-up shirt. He's like, yeah, I was in the CIA for 28 years. And he's going like, I'm going to tell you what's really going on.
Oh, speaking of guys who played in movies, in Awakenings.
Yeah.
That guy was at the Cellar one night. And
The Doctor?
The Doctor, and Robin introduced me to him.
That's crazy.
Can you double check that, make sure he's still alive? I'm almost positive that's who it was. I'm making sure it wasn't Patch Adams. I believe it was the guy from Awakenings was at this Cellar, or was it Patch Adams? It was one of he played a doctor. I hope it was Awakenings. I like that more.
Yeah, it's a better movie.
That doesn't hold up, though.
Yeah,
I watched it recently.
Awakenings?
No, it doesn't.
Why?
I feel swindled.
Oh, they just come back to life? Yeah. That is insane to meet the person that they're based on.
Yes, I'm almost positive, because probably Robin didn't want to talk to me. He's like, oh, Jim Norton.
Hey, hello. Have you met Patch Adams? Oh, he watched a lot of kids die. Oh, there's nothing behind his eyes. And you go, oh, fuck, Robin.
I had the same manager as him, and he brought in David Steinberg at one point, and he brought in him and Billy Crystal to watch my set. I was doing a Kimmel warm-up, so I had to do a fucking clean set. It went well, but it was like really uncomfortable.
That was like one time, and I'm not a fan of his, but one time, it was right when I started working at the Cellar, and I was very nervous about doing new material, and it was like a Friday, and I had this like new chunk that was working, so I was doing it every set. This woman in the middle of my set gets up, and I go, where are you going? And she goes, I'm going to smoke a cigarette. I saw you last week. You were doing the same jokes. And I was like, oh. Yeah. So I just pivot quick to like worse jokes.
Yeah.
And the second I pivot to like B material, Esty walks Bill Maher into the room, and they just stand there and watch me do mediocre. And I just fucking, and then he's like, Bill Maher, even if he's not smarmy, he's smarmy.
He seems it, yeah.
And he goes, hey, good set, or whatever. And you're like, shut the fuck up, you fucking dick. Like,
I've had, it's funny, I've met Bill, I've interacted with him.
Yeah.
I've had great success with him.
Really?
I love Bill Maher. Yeah, he's always been nice to me, and people be like, that guy's a dick. And then I met him, and he couldn't have been fucking, I just got him at the right times.
He's just old, smarmy age now, where he's like, is it? But for me, it was when he had that Hawk Tua girl on there, and it just looked like he was grooming her.
Oh, did he?
He's like, you need advice. He might as well have been rubbing his fucking chest hair. He's like, man, so you spit on it. And you're like, ugh, fucking Bill.
That's before the whole meme coin thing, right?
Yeah. I'm going to bed. No victims in that crime. There are no victims in that crime. If you got bankrupt by Hawk Tuah,
You're a stupid asshole.
good.
You're a volunteer.
Yeah, you shouldn't live by yourself. You shouldn't fucking drive a car.
Yeah.
And I'm glad your money got taken.
You're an idiot. You're a fucking... If you buy the Hawk Tuah coin and you think that that's how you're going to make your fortune, you're a dumb asshole.
I'm glad you're broke.
Yeah, you deserve to be broke. I'm going to bed.
What a hilarious thing to say before you financially just ruin people.
Is she going to go to jail or no?
No. I don't think there actually is. I don't know. What I've read about, like, specifically this is that she rug pulled. I don't know if it's technically, like, people watching would know more than I do. If it's technically illegal, I think it's like frowned down
it's
upon.
It's shitty, but not
illegal. It's like shitty, but I don't think I think she can get investigated by the SEC, but I don't think it's like, I don't know, man, but that's just funny. What a funny way to fuck people's lives
I felt bad for her because, and by the way, is he alive or no, Mike? Did you look at, when did he die? Okay, so it might have been him. Yeah. This was because Robin died in 2014.
Yeah.
So this might have been in 2010. Yeah, it probably was him actually.
It's like, I call him Awakenings. Yeah. He goes, stop calling me Awakenings.
I
have a fucking legal name. This is Dr. Awakenings.
I'll get you, my pretty.
He goes, Jesus Christ. I wish you would go to sleep like some of the fucking people I worked on.
Man, what the hell are you doing, man?
Say hey. He would always do like the most racist version of a black guy. What it is. You go, they haven't talked like that in 40 years.
Hey, I'm down, sucker.
You go, Jesus Christ, Robin.
But when he was on, that first night he came in, I mean, again, and this photo's from the early 80s. I was there at Colin, and there's a great picture with Manny and him in the, did you know Manny? You knew Manny.
No, he died before I moved here.
Manny, this was probably 97, 98.
Yeah.
And Robin came in, and we went down and watched him, and it was all stuff that had happened within the last week.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. It was so good.
Just fast.
I mean, but it was like legit. And then when we came upstairs, Colin goes, he does have a genius streak. Because it was so good.
I would kill to watch Colin admit that Robin Williams.
You couldn't deny it. He was so good.
Well, he's fast, but he does have a point.
He has a genius streak.
I could love that. The idea of you guys at the table and Colin loving it and being like, fuck, I can't.
Yeah, he was just great. I mean, he was so fast. It was so topical that there was no denying. It was just really great off the cuff.
Did he sweat like a motherfucker when he did it?
I have a picture with him upstairs. It's one of my favorite photos that I've ever taken. It's where we're sitting there and the sign says Comedy Cellar Comedians Only. And he had just come off stage. It's just me and Robin, and I'm a fish-eyed boy.
Yeah.
I'm just a fat, bug-eyed boy. And Robin, no, it's not it. Though Robin was wearing, he looked like he was on meth, and he was fucking and he is sweating. I don't know if you can see in the photo how disgusting and sweaty he was.
But he was just
dripping. Yes, if you Google me and Robin Williams, you might find that picture. I think it's online somewhere, but man, he was drenched.
What's your favorite celebrity photo that you have? Your number one?
Me and all of Black Sabbath together. Me, the original Sabbath together, and they're all in suits holding their Rock and Roll Hall of Fame trophies. There's no fan alive that has that picture.
Fucking incredible.
I went to the thing. I got in. It's crazy. I fucking hijacked the ceremony. I was asking them real questions at the press conference. Like this before I knew them. It was 2006. I actually left the Aspen Comedy Festival a day early because storms were coming. And I'm like, I'm going to this induction.
And it was in Cleveland.
No, this was back when it was at the Waldorf in New York.
Oh, shit.
And Ron Bennington gave me his ticket because he wasn't going to go. So Black Girl took this picture. He's the man.
Ron Bennington is, for those that, if you don't know, you're dumb. And if you do know, you know we're right. Ron Bennington is the fucking man.
He's really masterful, and he's a
one of the greatest
funny guy.
Broadcasters we've ever had, and one of the funniest human beings to ever walk.
Yes, also on the Epstein logs.
Yeah, and by the way, asked not to be redacted. Said he was there for the little kids.
But then it turned out he wasn't in, but he just got his name in there on purpose.
He goes, am I on? Cool. He's not even shocked by it. So you got to go and actually, did they like you were asking real questions?
Yes, I got to the ceremony, and I went back. You know what it was that day? Earlier that day, Steve Carlisi, our old producer, Tony Iommi had wanted to do a show on Sirius XM.
Yeah.
So I went to lunch with Iommi and Steve and Tony Iommi's guy Ralph, and the four of us just had lunch across the street from XM. So me and Tony talked for a while. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm coming tonight. And so I knew that he would recognize me. Like,
sure.
When they walked out on stage, he kind of looked, he saw me. and all these reporters were going to ask shit questions. So I just jumped up and I started asking questions.
Did you have like questions that
did it bother you guys that you never got the critical respect? Like really legit questions.
Which I bet in that setting, they go like, because there's other bands, there's like a whole other, it's like a class you're inducted in.
Yeah.
Them going like, this guy fucking gives a shit.
And I had I have tape of it somewhere. It's not great audio, but people were like, come on, sit down. Because I was like blocking the cameras. And then afterwards, I snuck backstage with Earl. Like I just walked backstage and I see Tony and they were all doing separate press. And so I see Tony and I'm like, hey man, I want to take a quick picture with you guys. He goes, yeah, sure. So we get, oh no, here's what happened. I got a picture with Ozzy. And if you see the picture, he looks fucking sick. I didn't know him at that point. And he's walking away and I get Tony, Geezer, and Bill. And I'm like, Ozzy, and he's walking away. I'm like, Tony, could you grab him? Because I'll never have this chance again.
Yeah.
And Iommi goes, Oz. And he calls Ozzy back. He called Ozzy back, and I got it was so weird to see Ozzy and Bill just chatting. He's like, all right, man, I'll call you this week. Like, just to watch these guys having a real moment. And that picture,
that's unbelievable.
Me between the four of them with their trophies.
That's unbelievable.
And I got all of them to sign it. It's on my wall. I blew it up this big.
Fucking believable.
That's probably the greatest moment of my life.
But that moment where you get Tony to go, like, could you help me out?
And he's like, yeah, Ozzy, come back.
Because to him, they're in a band. They're like, there's still the kids in England
it's
together.
It's like me calling Voss back.
Oh, there he is asking questions. God damn, you look like you're trying to take a mayor down. The way you're standing up asking that picture.
A little girl. And there's a boy changing in her locker room.
And how do you defend that right now? He's like, I don't fucking, who is this? This guy's asking hard fucking questions.
Yeah, that's by far. There's been bigger celebrities. I got a picture. Like I got Ali. That was a good one.
Who?
Muhammad Ali.
Oh yeah, that's big.
I got to spend 40 minutes in this hotel room with him and his wife. This guy Craig Fox, who ran his company, and my manager Jonathan at the time. That's the Robin picture, yeah. But I don't know. That looks backwards.
But he's just dumping sweat right there.
I don't know if you can tell because it's black. It's actually a color photo.
Yeah.
But he is. You see the mouth? He looks like he's all fucked up on coke.
Oh, I'm about to crash.
Yeah.
Challenger's about to explode. And you go, oh, fuck, you're on a lot of blow, huh?
He was always quiet when he came in. Like I really loved him because he never outshone the guys at the table. Like he came in, he would quietly talk politics. And I arranged for my parents went to see him in Atlantic City. So David, I asked him, like, my parents would love to meet Robin. And he was so nice to my parents. Oh, you're Jim Norton's parent. Like, he really went out of his way to...
That's awesome.
Because he knew that it would mean something to them. So I really loved him. He was I didn't know him well. Like, I just knew him from being at the Comedy Cellar and talking.
That's awesome.
But he was a really sweet guy.
And the one time when you were there, I mean, the only time I got to meet him, he was very sweet and very, like, much quieter than you thought he was going to be.
I think you should scroll down these.
Oh, you got some pics? Just Jim Norton's.
Oh, yeah. Colin really lets me. Who's that?
Oh, my God. I love it. Avril Lavigne, Jimmy Buffett, RuPaul, Springer. Oh, yeah. You got great ones in here.
I got a bunch, yeah.
Carlin is great, but Slash, like young Statham. You know what's so funny is seeing the 40 West 57th studio.
Oh, yeah.
What you don't know about that is I used to work overnights at K-Rock.
I do know that.
So I used to sleep in that studio.
I didn't know that.
I used to sleep on that couch where you had the guests.
Oh.
And one time E-Rock came in on a Saturday because I would work 6 a.m. to noon on air on Saturdays. So I would do spots in the city and sleep in the O&A studio at 40 West 57th. And then I wake up and go into the David Lee Roth studio, the side one. That's where I would do all my shifts. And I was sleeping on that leather couch, face to couch or whatever. And E-Rock comes in and flips on the lights. I go, oh, shit, sorry, man, I was sleeping. He goes, yeah, I wouldn't sleep on that couch, man. Sandy Kane was pantyless on that thing. And, dude, I went into the bathroom and fucking scrubbed my face.
Yeah, it's a bad place to sleep.
And I just fucking started sleeping in the old Stern green room because I was like, I'm not fucking sleeping on that couch anymore.
I think I remember the Stern Green Room too.
The Stern Green Room was so when you came out of the 40 West 57th studio, your guys is the O&A studio. It was the second door on the right.
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
red couches. What I remember specifically about the Green Room is there are people in Midtown that are so wealthy they have houses on top of buildings.
That's
and
right.
no one ever fucking talks about that. They have suburban houses on the top of skyscrapers.
They have them lifted on, right?
Yeah, there were like 2 houses that I would just like sit out and look at and be like, this motherfucker lives in like a regular house on top of a skyscraper. It was crazy to me.
Bizarre, yeah.
That was like me moving to New York and being like, that's a fucking real thing.
Yeah.
But I used to sleep in your guys' studio
that's funny. I didn't
until
know
fucking E-Rock told me about Sandy Kane being pantyless on that fucking couch.
Yeah, that sofa had some horrible things happen on it.
I fucking did. Also, it reminds me of when everyone got fired. Remember when you guys played the transition that we were, K-Rock was getting flipped to, it was when you guys left terrestrial radio. You guys, I think it was either E-Rock or somebody found the imaging that was like, K-Rock was becoming 92.3 now.
Yeah.
And our old program director was like, don't play it. And you guys kept playing it on Opie and Anthony. And my music director, Danny, called me and she's like, everyone's about to get fired.
Yeah.
Like they're clearing everyone out. So I, the little rat that I am, I found out they would honor I was getting like Afterpay. So I was
Right.
getting like $266 a shift, which I needed desperately
Yeah.
at the time. And they were like, listen, teach the new top 40 guys the board and we'll pay you on air money. So I was like, oh, great.
Sure.
So the new 92.3 Now people were coming in. I had long hair. I used to smoke cigarettes in the fucking stairwell.
Oh, yeah.
And dude, I remember I was eating Subway, watching South Park at the board where Opie used to sit. And I had South Park piped in through the studios. And remember that big TV you guys had in the
Yes.
back? I was watching South Park and the fucking music director came in and he's like, what are you doing? The new music director from the top 40 station. And I was like, watching South Park? And he's like, you're supposed to be monitoring the station. And I was like, oh, it's Lady Gaga. It's fine. and then the next day they're like, you're fired.
Yeah, we
you
don't need
fucking
this.
don't ever fucking come back. And I was
you're
like,
not needed.
Yeah. I was like, okay, I get
fair.
it. Yeah. I was like, you know what? I just remember being like mid chicken teriyaki sandwich and him going, what are you doing? And I was like, to watch the South Park.
You know you're finished when there's a format change. What are you doing? Getting my shit and leaving.
Yeah. I'm going to fill out the commercial logs and then fuck off for the last time and make sure I got my
Smoking
check.
cigarettes in the building. I remember we used to do that at NEW. And my last cigarette that I ever had was a Parliament Light. It was, or a Parliament.
Yeah.
It was in the NEW stairwell. I was going to quit. I'm like, I got to quit. And I'm like, I'm going to finish this pack. And I'll never forget Anthony. He goes, throw him out. And I was like, yeah, he's right. So I saved one and I smoked it in that because he had quit. But yeah, my last cigarette was in that fucking NEW stairwell. We used to go in there all the time and smoke.
At K-Rock stairwell, I remember I always had, when I was new, it's like 06, 07, I would have to do New Year's because no one wanted to do New Year's on Free FM or then K-Rock. Sure. So Danny would be like, hey, you need money. Do you want to do on air?
Would they pay you more?
No, same. But then what I would do is I was doing like spots at Stand Up New York, and Rick, the bartender, rest in peace, would give me a bag of beers that I would just take with me to K-Rock, and then I would just get drunk doing my shift. But I would go smoke cigarettes in the stairwell. And remember Yoda, the old engineer? He worked at CBS radio. He got fired when all the format changed.
If I met him, I don't remember him.
He was like an old dude. He used to work with like Howard Stern's dad at CBS FM. And like he was there for the whole Howard run at K-Rock. And then he was there with you guys. And when he got fired, everyone was like, they fired fucking Yoda. They're firing everybody. He caught me smoking in the stairwell and was so fucking mad at me.
Really?
In a way that only an engineer could get mad. He was like, what are you doing? You don't fucking, this is a radio station. You don't smoke in here. You're going to damage the equipment. I was like, I was in the fucking stairwell.
Damage the equipment.
I was like, shut up.
That is an old man angry thing to
Yeah,
say.
he was so
The
mad.
lights are going to get burned out. No, they're not.
But that was like the last time I smoked. Because I remember using the bathroom in the O&A studio. And there was, remember Howard's old private bathroom that you guys had?
Yep.
And then I was like, well, I got to take a dump in this.
So, you had to, yeah.
Because it was like Stern's private fucking bathroom. But that studio was so fucking cool.
It was, but I never liked being there. We had some amazing moments. Baby Bird was done in that
Oh,
studio.
yeah.
But I didn't like it because it always felt like I always felt like we were interlopers there. Like that was Stern's old studio. We were on satellite first, and I always felt like we were never truly welcome there. Even though they were fine with us, Chiasano never really liked me. I always felt like we were stepping into a shadow there.
Yeah. Is that why you guys put the window up? Because
David Lee Roth did that.
He put the window
David
up.
Lee Roth, I believe, did that, not us.
One of the engineers told me that David Lee Roth, when you guys, because it was David Lee Roth took over, it failed, and then they brought you guys in.
Yes, and we did well at first, but then we were competing against ourselves on satellite.
Yeah, and David Lee Roth, but the engineer told me that when David Lee Roth came in, they didn't want to put him in the Stern studio, so they put him in the side studio, and he was like, I got to tap dance every morning, and the guy's like, well, we're going to have to do a hardwood floor that's not conducive.
Yeah.
And he kept getting shocked every time he would touch the mic. So he'd be like, tick, 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 and he'd touch the mic and be like, it zapped me. And they're like, yeah, it's science, David. And I remember the engineer being like, that dumbass couldn't get it through his head.
Wearing metal shoes.
It was so funny. I always thought of that whenever I was in that studio. Like, they had to remove carpet. And he was like, ow, ow. Every time he touched the fucking mic.
I remember I was hosting on Opie and Anthony one time on satellite. The guys were out. I don't remember why. And it was a very bizarre show. I had David Lee Roth was my co-host, and we interviewed Anderson Silva. It was such, and he didn't speak
with
English
no
as
English.
well.
Yeah, and
very
he had
little.
That tiny, sweet voice. He was like, hi, and then he just knock motherfuckers out. How did the thing come about where UFC fighters would kick you or punch you? Because you became the guy that would you took a leg kick from John Jones.
That hurt me so much, I almost vomited. I remember I had the urge to shit and to throw up. It sent me into a little bit of shock. He put his shin in my fucking thigh. And it was fight week too. It was a bad move. He also choked me. And I remember I went to the bathroom. I was like, I think I'm going to pass out. Like, that fucked me up.
Here's my question. Did you have to try to hide the pain from Opie and Anthony?
Never. No, I was never cool.
You weren't like, that is fine, I'll walk it off.
No, I was like, I would always, we interviewed BJ Penn, and I wanted to see what an armbar felt like because I'd never experienced it. So I'm like, these things you watch, what do they feel like? On a light scale.
Sure.
So he put me in an armbar. I was like, holy fuck. Like, I was amazed at how you're being pulled in two different directions, and it really hurt.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar heel hooked me.
Fuck. I mean, Brock Lesnar he's a Kodiak bear of a man.
Yeah, he's a giant. And he laughed because he gave me like 2 leg locks sitting in the chair. Rhonda put me in an armbar.
So who was the first person that kind of kicked that off? It was BJ
Penn.
So you go, oh, will you do that? And then did it become a thing of the next time someone was in there?
The next fighter we had might have been Uriah Faber who punched me, or it might have been Rashad Evans or Cain Velasquez.
Yeah.
Put me in. He showed me what a guillotine felt like.
And this is, by the way, UFC obviously now mainstay sport. It's like
the thing, this is 15 years ago.
This is when it was still coming up.
Getting there,
and if you were into it, it was cool to hear them on Opie and Anthony.
I never had Liddell punch me because I knew Chuck, so I was like, yeah, it would be weird. Like Mike Tyson, I never asked to punch me.
Man, I had one of the greatest moments of my life because of you and Opie with Mike Tyson. I was on Opie and Jim, and Mike Tyson came in, and I was like, you guys were doing that rotating thing with comics.
Yes.
And I got to sit there, and Mike Tyson walked in, and he goes, he thought Anthony was going to be there. This is after Anthony got fired. And he walks in, and he goes, who the fuck are you? To me. And I went like, no one. I'm fucking no one. And then he sat down. It was when he was promoting Mike Tyson's Mystery Machine. And he was like going through the New York Post. And he was like talking to you. He was the most comfortable. He wasn't looking at Opie. He was talking to you. And he was like, yeah, Jim, I don't know. He's just like going through the New York Post. And he's like, did you see this? This guy got lit on fire. And you guys were talking. And then he like eased up a little bit. And he was talking about the cartoon. And he kept going, I make it for high guys. I make it for high guys. And he looks at me, he goes, you're a high guy. And I go, I am. And he's like, yeah, you're a high guy. But then he said the thing, I've always wanted this audio isolated, but we were talking, me and you were talking about doing stand-up and one person not laughing in the audience.
Yeah.
Well, like you're doing well, but there's like 2 or 3 people not laughing. And Tyson goes, that always bothered me. I would walk to the ring and everyone would be cheering me, but someone would be booing me. And then he looked at me and he goes, it's a bad neighborhood up here, and you're all by yourself. And on the air, I go, that's right, Mike Tyson. It was the most honest response I've ever had to somebody. I go, that's right, Mike Tyson. And he goes, it is.
I'm sure that audio exists somewhere.
I don't know, but it was like, because of you, I got to meet Tyson. I got to meet CM Punk right after he left the WWE.
Oh, yeah, I love him, yeah.
It was fucking great.
I'm going to look for that. If you remind me, I'll try to. I have a few. I used to save all those old interviews I did, the videos, and I have a few of the Tyson interviews. I don't remember that one if I have.
Oh,
if
dude, I could fucking probably give you the date because I think I have an Instagram picture because I took a picture with Mike Tyson. But him walking in and just going.
If you show me the picture later, if you show me the outfit he wore.
Yeah.
Did he have the white sweater on?
No, he had a black shirt and a black leather jacket on. And and he came in, but I'll never forget him going, who the fuck are you? And my nuts went into my body in a way.
Dan, Mike. I'm Dan.
I'm Dan, and you could own me. You could wear me like a condom if you wanted to.
He was I like Tyson. He's one of my favorite people to interview because he's so genuine. Like, he says such smart shit about like being in self-reflection and introspection and all this stuff, and he's really into like discussing his demons and like what's wrong with him for real.
I think that episode he was talking about being on the highway in a car accident and he had like a duffel bag full of coke and he had to like leave, and he was like, I don't know, I had like a couple keys or whatever, and you're like, Jesus Christ.
Did you ever read his biography? It's called Undisputable, Undisputed or Undisputable?
Yeah, I
Undisputed,
somewhere around here, but it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable about. It'd bother you how many Colin Quinn books I have.
By the way, how much would you hate me if I thought I could improv but couldn't? And I was doing things like, oh, look.
I go, oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, look. Here,
You leave, and I look at Mike, and I go, can you edit around that?
Yeah, he's why is he improv? He's not good at it.
I don't know. You remember that thing about watching your heroes age out? I go, that just happened.
Oh, look at I'm here. Oh, no. I'm a pig.
I go, oh, fuck. Jim's lost it. Jim's slipping.
Oh, Jim is not a good improver at all.
Dude, I mean,
hold on, brother. I'm a shoulder wrestler.
I go,
it's not funny, Jim.
Oh, fuck. You look over, I'm cutting myself. Please stop it.
He did the shoulder wrestler thing 8 times and no one laughed.
And it never hit.
It wasn't funny.
It didn't hit. Dude, I honestly, man, thank you for doing this podcast.
I'm happy to do it. I think you're great.
I think you're one of my heroes.
Oh, damn, thank you.
Like, you and Opie and Anthony and Tough Crowd specifically are the reason I wanted to be a New York comedian. You guys were always, I thought, the funniest. I thought you guys were always the most honest and sincere. And I think that means a lot for like a fan of comedy. But the New Advice podcast is awesome.
Thank you.
You're the man. Jim Norton.
Thanks, buddy.
Go watch his podcast. Go follow him. Go watch all his specials.
It's called Jim Norton Can't Save You. So you got to get the plug in.
I hate it. I hated that.